Well, hi guys, welcome back to this Moneycontrol live stream. You're watching Closing Bell with me, Nandita Khemka.
I'm Yatin Mota.
Well, Yatin, second day of losses coming in for the markets. It was a fairly volatile session, seesaw session to say the least. But the Nifty ended just a shade below the 19,700 mark. We did manage to trim some losses of the day before we shut shop in the red. If you look at the broader end of the markets, the mid-cap index, I think, managed to hold out. But the small-cap index also succumbed to some bit of selling pressure. So that index also ended the day in the red. If you look at sectoral movers, you had autos, metals and FMCG. These pockets were, under fair bit of selling pressure today. But what did well, of course, was the IT pack, Yatin. After a 5% up move last week, the IT pack continues to do well. In fact, even though there is a report from Jefferies which says that it has recently met managements of 7 IT firms, and the fact that there has been no change in the demand environment as such, and they believe that the rally in IT shares may be overdone for now. But we'll have to see how things pan out when it comes to IT stocks, because there's clearly a lot of buying interest around some of these mid-cap names. You have the likes of Persistent Science, all these companies, stocks rather gaining in today's session, and even the heavyweights like TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech, they have been seeing a lot of buying interest. But if you look at individual movers today, on the gainers side, you had the likes of Divi's Lab, you had Airtel, Wipro, HCL Tech, ONGC. These were some of the movers on the gaining side. On the losing end, you had the likes of Bajaj Finance continues to lose, on the back of the setback coming in from RBI, M&M, SBI Life, Tata Motors, some of the other losers. But Yatin, let's talk about the broader end of the market. Some of the counters were really gaining, and how today?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at Tata Investments, that stock is in focus since the Tata Technologies IPOs is around the corner. There is also a buzzword on the street that the SEBI in the upcoming board meeting would approve the delisting norms for holding companies, which would probably unlock some value. Obviously, the SEBI chairman or the chairperson has already said on record that they will be considering the holdco delisting proposal in the next board meeting. So yes, a lot of things buzzing around that stock, and Tata Investments today also moving by nearly 15%. If you look at that stock from 1 week perspective, that stock is up nearly 41%, and on a 3 months basis the stock has gained nearly 80%. So good going for that stock. Latent View, Olectra, ITI were the other stocks which gained anywhere between 7 to 10%. What was not doing well is the likes of BSC Limited, Solar Industries, Balkrishna Industries. All of these stocks witnessing some profit taking in between 5 to 7% down. In fact, stocks like MCX, CDSL, all of these stocks also saw some bit of profit taking at higher levels. So yes, a couple of mid caps which had run up last week or probably in the last 10-15 days have been witnessing some bit of profit taking.
Well, of course, profit takings in some counters. BSC for one, I think that stock has been on an upward trajectory, but this week, in fact, started off on the back foot. But on that note, let's take a look at some of the stocks that are on our radar this afternoon. Starting with Tata Investment, Yatin, you already alluded to it. Of course, 35% kind of up move in a matter of 2 sessions, and that too ahead of the Tata Tech IPO. Of course, analysts see a value unlocking opportunity for Tata Investments, and which is why the stock has been on the buying list. And how, in fact, analysts also saying that the valuations of Tata Tech are at 27 times 1 year forward, which is cheaper than all the other comparable listed companies. If you look at Tata Investments, it holds stakes in a lot of other listed Tata firms, the likes of Tata Motors as well, and that is what is contributing to its robust market performance. It is a promoter entity, promoter group entity of Tata Motors as well. Remember, Tata Motors will be selling somewhere around 4.6 crore shares in the Tata Tech IPO, which is entirely an OFS, and OFS today is somewhere around 3,000 crore rupees or thereabouts. So that's one way to look at it, that value unlocking is something that will bode well for Tata Motors, Tata Investments and the likes. And if you look at the quarterly performance of Tata Investment, it had reported a profit growth of over 30%, revenue, double-digit revenue growth of 16%. In fact, yesterday only, in fact, last a couple of days only, we had news flow that Vaibhav Goyal has been appointed as the general manager of the company, and he has over 2 decades of experience in the stock market. So that will also drive growth for the company going forward. And if you look at what technical analysts are saying about the stock now that it has rallied 40% in the last 1 week, they say that the stock looks like it is in the overbought zone, given the fact that the RSI, the relative strength index, is above 80. Now above 70 is something that indicates that the stock is in overbought zone. But now, it is in the overbought zone, and some analysts say that perhaps it would be the right time to book profits. But of course, the stock has been on a tear. Let's see, how it does tomorrow and day after when the IPO of Tata Tech opens.
Clearly, and that stock is not obviously in focus, but also in focus is the stock of NMDC. Now, obviously, after the second quarter results and weak realizations, the stock witnessed some correction. But yes, gradually stock has been recovering. In fact, today Citi, which already has a buy call on NMDC, has raised the target price on the stock to a level of 190 from the previous level of 160. Now, they believe that the kind of production improvement that NMDC has seen over the past few quarters, if that continues, there could be a significant amount of addition to the overall earnings. In fact, they expect upside to the domestic ore prices, though the management has not been able to guide on the price front. NMDC fine prices are at least 20% discount to the export parity, so there is headroom to increase prices of iron ore fines. Also, they have increased the prices of iron ore, because from here on probably things have been bottoming out. MOIL also in its analyst meet said that the prices are likely to bottom for these commodity raw materials, since steel industry is again witnessing some bit of good demand. Also, if you look at the stock of NMDC, according to Citi, it trades at a 3.5 time EV to EBITDA on implied iron ore prices of nearly $115 per ton. Obviously, spot prices are nearly 130 rupees per ton. So yes, from the valuation standpoint, Citi believes that the stock is trading at attractive valuations, and probably from here on, the stock can give some smart returns, especially with the free cash flow ratio of nearly 8.5%.
All right, Yatin, but the government was looking to sell some bit of stake in NMDC Steels, right? But there hasn't really been any update on that.
That entity has been demerged from NMDC, and that is a separate listed entity. Obviously, NMDC will get a lot of payment dues from NMDC Steel, but yes, that divestment process is currently being run by Deepam and has been facing some bit of delays due to various reasons, including political reasons.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be of course watching out for more developments on that front as well. But the other stock on our list today is Cipla. Of course, it has received a warning letter from USFDA, in fact the Indore unit, so to say, and new approvals from this unit will be put on hold for now. The company is of course looking at transferring the manufacturing of its inhaler drug Advair, which is also something that other drug makers including Lupin are in the race to launch. But of course, this launch was anyway expected to be delayed, given the fact that the management had already alluded to the fact that there are USFDA issues pertaining to its Pithampur unit as well as Goa unit. So some of the launches will be delayed, and the street was already factoring in a delay with respect to this particular drug, which is likely to be launched now by somewhere around mid to early FY25. So this is something that apparently the street was already factoring in, given the fact that this particular unit was inspected back in February, and then it was under the official action indicated status, and now it has received a warning letter. Of course, the management will be trying to shift the manufacturing of the drugs from this unit to Long Island unit. That's something the management had already indicated, and of course we know that Goa unit is already under the official action indicated status, right? So there are USFDA issues, but the stock price didn't really react that much, given the fact that I think the street already had a whiff of it that something or the other might come in. But also the fact that there is no update on any kind of promoter stake sale to companies like Torrent, which are in the race, which were believed to be in the race rather. So if you look at the stock price over the last 3 months or so, it has been pretty sideways, even though in the last 1 month we have seen 5% kind of gains, given the fact that the pharma index has hit a fresh record high recently. It has gained in 14 out of 17 sessions. So pharma index has been doing well, and we have seen the losses on the stock price limited, given the fact that I think most of these negatives were already priced in. And of course, the next big mover for the stock would be, I think, something related to the promoter stake sale.
Absolutely, and I think Nandita, for that reason also, the stock might have not gone for a deep correction today, because number one, the street was probably expecting this news, and now given the second quarter earnings buoyancy and the promoter stake sale around the corner, I think a lot of funds have refrained from selling the shares of Cipla, and probably the stock was stable despite a slew of bad news which has come in over the past few days, including their Goa plant also struggling with the USFDA issues.
Well, those were all the stocks on our radar this afternoon. If you have any, any observations that you want to share, leave them in the comment section below. And of course, come back and join us on Morning Trade at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and Yatin. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Stay tuned to Money Control for all your other news and updates.